This is Harold Anderson. He was an electrician, second class for the Navy during World War II. Hi. Were you drafted or did you enlist into the war?
I was drafted.
You were? What was your reaction to the draft?
Well, it was just a necessary thing at that time.
Where were you living at the time you got drafted?
Well, I was on the farm with my parents, of course.
So, did you pick the service branch that you got drafted into?
Yeah.
They just drafted you into the Navy?
Well, when you were drafted and called up, you could put down your preference if you wanted the Army or the Navy or which, and maybe you got your preference and maybe you didn't.
So, did you choose the Navy?
I did.
Why?
Well, I just thought that might be easier than being a soldier.
Yeah. And you were an electrician?
Yes.
What was that like?
Well, I don't know how to answer you. It was making necessary electrical repairs and maintenance of electrical equipment.
Do you recall your first days that you got into the service?
Oh, not really. The first went to what was called boot camp at Great Lakes, Illinois, and that's where this picture was taken, and spent 12 weeks there.
So were you living in Illinois when you were drafted, or in Kansas?
No, I was living here, and that was the first place I was sent after I was inducted.
Do you remember what it felt like your first day?
No, not really, no. Don't remember specifically.
Were you nervous at all? Scared?
Just one of those things that was happening to you.
Can you tell me a little bit about your boot camp and training experience?
Well, of course, the Great Lakes training base had been there for many, many years. We were in what was called the Green Bay area. It was added on to during the war to train the additional troops that were needed during the war. And one thing I remember that we were the furthest barracks out and topside.
Did you know anyone at all?
Not going in, no. I didn't know anybody.
Did you make some friends?
Oh, yes.
Do you remember any of your instructors that you had? Like your instructors at boot camp?
No, I don't really. It only gives you the company commander plenty, but I don't recall him.
Do you want to show this for the camera? Do you know where are you in this picture?
Right there.
Which one?
Where? Here.
Oh, by the tag?
Yeah.
It's a lot of people.
120 of you.
Okay. Was it hard finding yourself in that picture?
Well, no. I was kind of remembering that I was in the top row, and it was just the other day that I took it down and looked at it for sure. I couldn't mark with myself on there.
So where exactly did you go when the war got started?
Well, this Great Lakes training base there in Illinois, and from there I went to St. Louis to electrical school, and I spent 3 4 months there in St. Louis.
What was that like?
At electrical school. We had one building. It was an old city waterworks building where we lived and ate, but we were bussed from there to a high school there in St. Louis, and this high school was a huge building. It was 5 stories high that I remember, a U-shaped building, and we had about half of one floor, and we were, I don't know, some 200 sailors or something just in that small portion of that high school.
So there were a lot of or electrical engineers. Did you know anything about being an electrician before you went to that school?
Not really, no.
What was your duty during World War II? Just to fix things on the ships?
Yeah. From St. Louis, I went to San Francisco, and from there, that was a port of debarkation. So, went on a ship there, a troop ship, and went to the South Pacific, and spent 31 days on this ship, and went to Manicanny Island, which is a small island on the east coast of the Philippines, between Leyte and I can't say the name of the other one now. Anyway, a small island there, and that's where this ship repair base was. And I was in the electrical shop there, and my specific duties was, I was rewinding electrical motors that had burned out, remove the old burned out windings and put in new ones.
Were there a lot of electricians at your base?
Oh my, I don't really remember how many of them we were there.
So since you were at an electrician base, did you see any combat at all?
No.
So do you have any memorable experiences at your base?
Well, I don't actually, it happened just before I got there. This here.
Whoa. Can you tell me about this picture?
Well, there was kind of a small pond there. I guess some of the sailors had been swimming in the pond, and
Hold on.
until one day they
Can you see that?
they found this, I don't know what do you call it, alligator or crocodile.
That's huge.
Yeah, it was some 14 feet long.
Do you know anyone in this picture?
No, I don't.
That's huge.
And this had just happened a day or two before I came on the island, so I didn't actually meet up with it.
So when you were at the base, did you stay in touch with your family a lot?
Well, the only way was through letters. So,
Did you write a lot of letters to pass the time?
I really don't recall how many letters were written.
What was the food like?
I don't specifically remember, but it wasn't too bad as far as that goes, as I remember it anyway. Once in a while, I don't know, for some reason they didn't have cooks or didn't have the food that they should have, so we had K rations, which was a dry meal put in a kit.
Besides the food supplies, did you have plenty of supplies to do your job?
As I remembered, yeah.
Did you feel what did you feel like? Were you pressured at all?
Oh, not really, no.
Because you were so far away from the fighting?
Yeah, we weren't close to any combat at all for that part.
How did the people in your base, how did you guys entertain yourselves?
Well, there was a movie every evening, and that's really what I remember as the entertainment thing.
Did you have any musicians come entertain?
Musician? I don't remember, I don't know. Well, I spent part of my time on this island, and then I was transferred from there to a floating dry dock. This is just out in the bay. It's a dry dock where you sink the dry dock and sail a ship in the middle of it, and then you pump the water out of it, and lift the ship out of the water. So I was on the lighting gang on this dry dock. The main thing was to keep the lighting in operation on the dry dock.
Was that tough?
Not that I remember, no, changing light bulbs and
Came natural.
things like that.
What did you do when you were on leave? Did you get any leave? Did you get to leave from your job for a while and then come back?
Well, there was no place to go other than, well, I do remember that we would, from the dry dock, I don't know, have a few hour leave or whatever, and we didn't have any beer on the dry dock, but apparently could go over to on shore and got a beer ration over there. So one thing I remember, there was 4 of us went over there one day, and we got 2 cases of beer for the 4 of us, and 2 of the fellas only drank about 3 or 4, and the other 2 of us had me and the other one had to take care of the rest of the beer. Because you couldn't bring any of it back for that part of it.
So did you have a lot of friends?
Oh, quite a few.
Did you play any pranks on your friends?
Not that I specifically remember, no.
Do you want to show some of the photographs? Some more?
Well, this, I don't know if I should show that thing or not.
Show that to the camera. Can you tell us about this picture?
This was on that island, of course, and some, this grass skirt, I guess from the Filipinos there some way. And, just for entertainment, of course, put it on.
Do you know who this is? Do you know who this is?
That's me.
Were you the only one who did this?
Well, probably not, no, but that was, I know I had some other pictures, but this was the only one I could find. And I still have that grass skirt, too.
That's cool.
kind of stupid, isn't it? This was my discharge.
Did you keep any personal journals?
No.
You didn't? What did your fellow soldiers think about, or what did they think about this picture? Dressing up in a grass skirt?
Oh, we were just doing something, fooling around. See, going back to St. Louis, see, this was the building that we
You can
lived
hold
in.
that up. Just hold this up and you can tell them. So, is this the building where you lived when you were
Yes.
living?
Mm-hmm.
And who's Bob Carter? Is he another electrician?
Yeah.
And so we're J.R. Berryman. Is that you?
No.
This is Harold.
Yeah, I guess it is. Yeah. Yeah, I'm J.R. Berry. He's from Kentucky. And, this was the way our sleeping quarters were.
Crowded. Guess you got to know your neighbor real well.
Real well, yeah. Tried to get along with them. These 2 right here, they were really my best friends that I still communicate with.
Who's Bob?
Bob Carter. He lives in Texas now.
And did they go to the same place you did during the war?
Yeah.
So you gotta stay with them through training and
Yeah, from
beginning to the end.
So we were together for a year and a half or something like that.
So do you recall the day that your service actually ended?
No, not specifically. Can't remember the town I went to, but it's in Oklahoma.
Were you excited? Happy to be going home finally?
Oh, well, yeah. And I know we, 3 or 4 of us hired somebody with a car that drove us from there to Wichita. And how we got home from Wichita, I don't recall.
So, what did you do as work when you got home?
Well, where my folks lived on the farm, and I did also. Then that summer I went to work for the alfalfa dehydrating company. Worked on them through this summer, and that fall went to work for a company that's building the rural electric lines here.
So you used what you learned for the war later in your life?
Somewhat, yeah. I was stayed in the electric business all my life.
So exactly how many of your friends that you had during the war do you still keep in touch with now?
Just these two, Bob and Dick.
How do you keep in touch with them?
Oh, Christmas cards and so forth. Dick Behrman lives in Des Moines, Iowa.
Have you ever actually all got together?
No. I came back from, from another meeting up there, so I stopped and saw him. There was 2 years ago, I believe it was.
Did that stir up some emotion?
So it was good to see him. You know.
Did you join any veterans organization?
Yes, I belong to the American Legion, the DFW, and 40 and 8.
And what kind of activities does your association have?
What association do you mean?
Like your veterans organization?
The American Legion?
Yeah, what kind of things do you do?
The Legion here. Oh, I'm still active in the Legion. I'm adjutant to the local post. We really don't have too much activities going on anymore. Too many of us are getting too old.
Have you met any of your old post members, from where you were stationed?
No, I haven't done that at all.
So you haven't really attended any reunions?
Well, the American Legion, yes, I retained some of those, reunions. Two national ones, one in Honolulu and one in Salt Lake City.
How did your service as an electrician affect your life?
Well, like I said, I've been in electrical business all my life. I worked for the Rural Electric Co-op here for 44 years. So I've stayed in electrical business of some type all my life.
Is there anything else you want to add in the interview before we end?
Not specifically that I could think of. I'll think about it tomorrow.